Climate change is a topic that has gained increasing attention and concern in recent years. It refers to the long-term changes in the Earth's climate patterns, including global temperatures, precipitation, and weather events. While fluctuations in climate are a natural occurrence, there is growing scientific consensus that the current changes are largely caused by human activities, particularly the burning of fossil fuels and deforestation. This human-caused climate change has already had significant impacts on the planet, such as more frequent and severe heat waves, floods, and sea level. The debate over whether climate change is real, human-caused, and what actions should be taken to mitigate it is a major source of controversy worldwide. Some people argue that the Earth's climate has always fluctuated, and that the current changes are simply part of a natural cycle. Others claim that the evidence for human-caused climate change is inconclusive, or that the costs of mitigating it are too high. However, the overwhelming majority of scientific evidence supports the idea that climate change is real and largely caused by human activity. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, a scientific body established by the United Nations, has concluded that it is extremely likely, a 95-100 probability, that human activities are the main cause of the observed warming of the Earth's climate since the mid-20th century. The urgency of addressing climate change has led to various policies and strategies being proposed, such as reducing greenhouse gas emissions, carbon pricing, adaptation measures, and geoengineering. However, there is no single solution to this complex issue, and all of these strategies have their own advantages and drawbacks. In this context, it is important to recognize the scientific evidence and take action to address climate change. This requires a concerted effort from individuals, governments, and businesses worldwide to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and limit the impacts of climate change on our planet and societies. The Earth's climate is a complex system that is influenced by many factors, including variations in solar radiation, volcanic activity, and changes in the Earth's orbit and axis. However, scientific evidence shows that the current warming trend of the Earth's climate is largely caused by human activities, particularly the burning of fossil fuels of coal, oil, and natural gas, and deforestation. These activities release large amounts of greenhouse gases, such as carbon dioxide, into the atmosphere, which trap heat and cause the Earth's temperature to rise. The impacts of climate change are already being felt around the world, including more frequent and severe heat waves, droughts, storms, floods, and sea level rise. These impacts are expected to intensify in the coming decades, leading to significant social, economic, and environmental consequences such as food and water shortages, displacement of people, and loss of biodiversity. To address climate change, various strategies and policies have been proposed, such as 1. Reducing greenhouse gas emissions. This involves transitioning from fossil fuels to renewable energy sources, such as solar, wind, hydro, and geothermal power. It also includes improving energy efficiency, reducing waste, and promoting sustainable transportation. 2. Carbon pricing. This involves putting a price on carbon emissions to reflect their social and environmental costs, and to incentivize individuals and businesses to reduce their emissions. Carbon pricing can take various forms, such as a carbon tax or a cap-and-trade system. 3. Adaptation measures. This involves preparing for the impacts of climate change that are already inevitable, such as building seawalls, developing drought-resistant crops, and improving water management. 4. Geoengineering. This involves manipulating the Earth's environment to counteract the effects of climate change. Examples of geoengineering include injecting reflective particles into the atmosphere to reflect sunlight back into space, or fertilizing the ocean to promote the growth of carbon-absorbing algae. However, there is no single solution to climate change, and all of these strategies have their own advantages and drawbacks. The most effective approach will likely involve a combination of these strategies, tailored to the specific needs and contexts of different countries and regions. In conclusion, climate change is a complex and pressing global issue that requires immediate action from all sectors of society. The scientific evidence overwhelmingly supports the idea that it is real, largely caused by human activities, and will have significant and lasting impacts on our planet and societies if left unchecked. While the debate over climate change continues, it is important to recognize that the costs of inaction are too high. The impacts of climate change are already being felt around the world, from devastating wildfires and droughts to more frequent and severe weather events, and these impacts will only worsen in the coming years. Mitigating and adapting to climate change will require a comprehensive approach that involves reducing greenhouse gas emissions, to renewable energy sources, promoting energy efficiency, improving water management, and developing climate resilient infrastructure. It will also require global cooperation and leadership to address this shared challenge, as no single country or region can solve this issue alone. As individuals, we can also take action by reducing our carbon footprint, promoting sustainable practices, and advocating for policies that address climate change. Together, we can work towards a sustainable future for ourselves and for generations to come.